second lecture about compute service of offering. So today we are going here primitive VM versus the custom VM in compute service. So in this chapter we are going to main primitive VM and custom VM, then compute engine terms, instance, what is the instance, what is the machine type, images family, snapshots, and metadata. So primitive VM is a compute engine section. We talk about short-lived VM bulk of processing. Primitive VM is also known as a short-lived VM. Means after a certain time it will destroyed. So because of VM live for only for 24 hours, then there are after that it will be destroyed. So that's why it's called the primitive. When you want to process heavy tasks and some extra computing power for short period of time, short live VM be the best choice for that one. Okay, so the primitive instance VM cost is 80% less than regular VM and also provide a flat rates. The use case of primitive VMs is a heavy batch processing jobs. So you can see this one as a Planet image dynamic event. So they have petabytes of data and they use primitive VMs. And as you can read this article, as they saying they reduce the cost by for processing 60%, so which is very huge amount, tracking billions of objects. So you can read this article. I will include this in the video in the comment section. So the availability for primitive VM costs much less but lasts only for 24 hours. It can be terminated sooner due to the system demand. So this one, if you on and off. Like VM, we also primitive GPU which can be used for short period of time, like rendering large 3Ds. Now the next one is custom VM. So we talk about primitive VM and custom VMs. So let's go. Custom means we provide different GPU, CPU, or processing. So if regular VM and primitive VM does not satisfy business requirement, which happens very rarely, we can create a custom virtual machines in our choice. A regular VM means Google Cloud has some predefined set of virtual machine which we can select from drop down list. Three categories is predefined virtual machine: standard, memory optimized, or compute optimized. We will see this is an upcoming lesson. The custom virtual machine is like building computer of our own configuration. We should know how much and which generation process we want, or else we will end up underutilizing or overutilizing of our virtual machine. Compute engine terms. So here we are going about compute engine terms. Okay, so while working with compute engine service, you come across the key terms. Here is some of terms related to compute engine service in the GCP. So the first one is instance. What is instance? We have been using the term very often. Instance is an individual virtual machine. So instance is nothing but individual virtual machine. Okay, the connecting to VM depend upon OS. SSH protocol used in Linux machine, where the RDP protocol used connect to Windows machine. So the instance, there is two things here: SSH used for Linux and RDP used for Windows machine. Now the next term we are often talking about what machine type. Machine type is defined of hardware configuration used by VM. So hardware is defined the machine type. Google provides some predefined machine type, different name configuration. Predefined machine include standard type, balanced memory and compute, memory optimize, compute optimize. So first one is balance, then memory, then compute. So in typically data side we talk about compute, talk about memory. We can also have custom machine type defining your own memory and compute combination. So the machine is just a simple like compute or memory, and or both, which is called hybrid. And instance is number of VMs. Now we talk about image. Image is common word regarding to virtual machine. Image represents to bundle of OS package and software. So image is basically OS. For example, Windows ISO image is Docker image. There are two types of image, public and custom. Custom image is built by us and can be managed in the image family in GCP. Public images are created by Google and other third-party provider. So image is like Docker image. You can consider image family. Different version of same image are grouped together using. So the image family is like different version of image considered as image family. Image families always point to latest version of image, not deprecated. For example, a Debian 9 image is family of Debian close project will always point to the most recent Debian 9 image. So snapshot is basically we're talking about incremental data in the data world. So it's kind of snapshot is backup of persistent disk. Incremental backup means only difference between old and new backup stored in the layer. Snapshot is also used for image create new VM. So snapshot is nothing like previous change to now change. So incremental data. Metadata, the key value pair information about instance project stored in separate metadata. So all this key value information about instance or project has a key and value, which we call it metadata. Is nothing about data. So this can be query metadata server permanently for within an instance from the compute API. You can also query for information about instance such as instance hostname, instance ID, startup shutdown script, custom metadata and service unit. So this is just in this lecture we cover all this topic, like what is the primitive VM, custom VM, how we define, then different terms of compute in terms, instance, machine type, image. So please read this part, and also I will provide the Planet Labs how they use the VM, primitive VM. So please like, subscribe my channel. Thank you for watching.